Tonight on Evening, how volunteers are delivering joy one shoebox at a time on the Long Beach Peninsula. The Seattle couple tackling travel and race in their popular YouTube series.
Merry Christmas!
And see how Nordstrom is continuing its Santa tradition in the time of COVID.
Welcome to the show. I'm Saint, coming to you tonight from one of Tacoma's tastiest new spots. This is the Browne family Vineyards tasting room. It just opened at the end of October. They're going for a warm and welcoming vibe here, designed especially to feel like a home away from home. With the new restrictions, they are open for in-person retail purchases, curbside pickup, and local delivery. More on this place later in the show. Plus, we're going to find out how the Browne family is helping keep a Northwest holiday tradition alive. But first, out on the Long Beach Peninsula, volunteers are bringing neighbors in need some holiday cheer, one brightly decorated shoebox at a time. Here's Angela with tonight's Neighbors Helping Neighbors.
It's a small thing, a shoebox filled with socks, soap, candy, wrapped in Christmas paper.
So sometimes it's not what's in the box that matters. What matters is that somebody came to their door and knocked and wished them Merry Christmas and remembered they were out there.
But for someone who receives one of these boxes, it's everything.
Elderly and disabled shut-ins, they don't see anybody. They don't have visitors. They don't get gifts. They don't have family near. When we provide their shampoo, their soap, their toothbrush, it sounds like a small amount, but it might keep their power on. It might make it so they can buy groceries this month.
Deanne Ketwig and her father Jerry and dozens of local volunteers spend every December making shoeboxes of joy in Long Beach, something to give to folks who don't get much. It started 13 years ago in Jerry's garage, and today they make about 800 boxes a year. Local school kids supply handwritten cards. Everyone puts in a bit of love. And then they all spend their holiday delivering these boxes to low-income, elderly, and disabled people in the area.
For me, this is Christmas.
I live for it. I can't wait till it starts.
For some, this is their only holiday present.
And they don't have nobody to think about them, but we take them a box, and I've had people start crying.
Cindy and Tony have both received boxes.
It's awesome because if anybody else didn't care or not give anything, at least we get something.
And now they're both paying it forward.
Next year I'm gonna have to try to find out their schedule so I can give them a hand, go shopping for them or something.
Usually volunteers raise funds with bake sales. COVID has made that tough this year. But the tree is up and the wrapping goes on.
The need is greater, and right now we're kind of down on products, but I do believe that somehow, some way, we will make it.
And Deanne says that paper and those handmade ribbons are the most important thing about a shoebox of joy.
Because we want to give a gift. We want them to feel that they're important, that they were thought of and they were remembered.
Long Beach may be a couple thousand miles south of the North Pole, but there's magic here.
Yeah, you could say it's Santa's.
You could say it's his helpers anyway.
Yeah.
The kind that turns small things into a true gift.
Christmas is a wonderful time of year, and we should all be sharing what we have.
Thank you, Angela. If you'd like to deliver more shoe boxes of joy, go to our website at king5evening.com and we will show you how. A heavy metal drummer loses his hearing overnight. What happens next? That is the premise of a new film called Sound of Metal, and it's already generating awards buzz.
In Sound of Metal, Riz Ahmed plays a drummer in a noise rock duo who suddenly loses his hearing. Director Darius Martyr says finding the right actor took years.
I often say I worked hard to scare the crap out of every actor I ever met that wanted to do this movie because I wanted to see who was up for it.
It is a performance without safety nets. Riz spent 7 months learning to play the drums. He wore devices that cut off his hearing for real, and he learned ASL.
While you were learning American Sign Language, what did you learn about the deaf community?
Many things. You know, a lot of deaf people say hearing people are emotionally repressed because they hide behind words. And when I first started communicating in American Sign Language, I would find myself getting much more emotional than I would if I just said the words. And I realized what it is to kind of communicate in that embodied way.
Olivia Cook plays his partner, on stage and off. Again, no safety nets.
When a director tells you you have to perform on stage in front of a bunch of people in 2 months with an actor you've just barely met, and you're going to be playing guitar and screaming, what goes through your mind?
Because you're just like, okay, that seems okay. Yeah, maybe yeah, that'll work. Like 2 months is a long time, and then it slowly creeps up, and you're like, I can't do this. And then you're on stage, and your guitar string snaps, which mine did. I'm like, well, this is it. Then it's a sign. The sign's gonna be horrible.
Riz winds up at a home for deaf addicts, run by Paul Racy, an actor who grew up with deaf parents.
We're looking for a solution to this, not this.
What was the vibe like on the set? Some people might think it was probably pretty quiet.
Oh, only when they said we're rolling. Deaf people are pretty noisy, as a matter of fact.
There's another major character in the film, the sound, which rumbles, distorts, gets muffled, connecting you in a physical way to Riz's experience. Tweaking the sound design took half a year.
I was going for a very, very high level of sonic experience that is usually reserved for action films and explosions. And in this case, it was just something much different and really unexplored.
An exercise in empathy. Sound of Metal asks, who are we really when we only define ourselves by what we do?
Sound of Metal is rated R. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 97, and you can see it starting tomorrow night on Amazon Prime Video. That's not the only thing coming to your screens. Here's Jim with a few more picks on what's on this week.
This doesn't look like the kind of place where people go missing at all.
The boys are back on TV for the first time in 25 years. The new series adaptation of The Hardy Boys finds the teens knee-deep in a new mystery. The duo comes to Hulu tomorrow. Holiday cheer will be on full display tomorrow when Mariah Carey's magical Christmas special comes to Apple TV. Carey will be front and center performing some of the biggest tunes of the season.
Ready and willing to hunt the great white whale?
Just call me Ahab.
Could the Oscar winner for Best Picture be coming to your TV? Mank tells the story of Hollywood writer Herman Mankiewicz, who wrote the screenplay for the Hollywood classic Citizen Kane. See what the buzz is all about when it drops on Netflix tomorrow.
Ahead on Evening, how you can bring the Pacific Northwest Ballet's Nutcracker performance home this holiday season. Plus, how Nordstrom's adapting their Santa Claus tradition for these tricky times. Neighbors Helping Neighbors is sponsored by Kaiser Permanente, Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of Washington.
Welcome back to the show from the Browne Family Vineyards' new tasting room in Tacoma. Browne is the largest family-owned winery in the Northwest. They're based in Walla Walla, and they pride themselves on making good wine and building meaningful relationships with their customers and community. One of the ways they're showing their support is by making sure the Pacific Northwest Ballet's production of George Balanchine's The Nutcracker will still go on. I asked founder Andrew Browne why his family is helping to keep this Northwest tradition alive.
We've been native Northwesterners, and the Nutcracker has been such a tradition that it was the right thing to do. It's incredibly important for local businesses like Browne Family to support our community in times of crisis. The Nutcracker will bring joy to so many this holiday season in the Northwest. We're always thinking about the future. Our daughter, who's in ballet right now, Although the Nutcracker isn't going to be the same this year that it's been over all the years, the future, we will be there next year with bells on and excited to have our daughter see it live and in person.
Like so many of us, Andrew could not imagine a Christmas without the Nutcracker. If you want to see and support the Pacific Northwest Ballet, they'll be streaming a classic performance of George Balanchine's The Nutcracker starting next Friday, December 11th. Tickets and information for the shows can be found at pnb.org. And stay tuned for a special announcement from King 5 and Browne Family Vineyards about the Nutcracker. That announcement's going to happen a little bit later this month. Well, I have some very great news for you. Santa Claus is coming to town. It's just not in the normal way. As Jose shows us, Nordstrom has come up with a way to spread the holiday cheer for all of us virtually.
Merry Christmas!
How you doing, Santa?
Oh, I'm wonderful. How are you today?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say I'm very happy to see you because this is my favorite time of the year.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to see you. You know I love this time of the year.
Is this a little different than now you get to see people and talk to people via internet now?
Yes, that's a lot different than it has been. I'm used to having little ones and sometimes big ones. Thankfully, Nordstrom was able to provide us with this kind of a program.
Are you the real Santa? I don't know.
Yes, of course I am.
Are we being good?
What's your biggest wish?
To get a dirt bike.
What do you like to do?
Play my iPad. I like Christmas.
And what's your name?
Jason.
To think that we're still gonna have you in one way or another, I think is gonna bring a lot of hope to a lot of kids.
Hope is important. We must all have it, and especially this time of the year. In my opinion, this is indeed the best, the most wonderful time of the year.
Reason to be jolly. La 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 la.
Why do you think it's important for kids to see a Santa that looks like them?
Every child needs to know that they are important, and I think that is reflected in the images that they see. And it's also, for a time like Christmas, we must realize that the spirit of Christmas is about joy and love and giving.
How are you guys doing in the North Pole? Because obviously, this year's been very interesting to the normal people, so I'm just wondering how has it been for you?
We're all wearing our masks, we're keeping our distance, and we're doing a whole lot of hand washing.
Do you have a favorite deer?
A favorite deer? I get that a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking your time and talking to us, Santa.
Yes, and thank you. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. La 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 la.
Thank you so much, Santa. Santa, can you say ho ho ho?
Ho ho ho.
Thank you, Jose. Those one-on-one video chats with Santa are $20 each. 100% of the proceeds go to Operation Warm and Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. Well, a local couple are starring in their own YouTube series called Traveling While Black in Seattle. It's actually a lot of fun, but you will learn something.
Recently, my wife and I moved from St. Louis, Missouri, halfway across the country to Seattle, Washington.
When a job transfer brought Marley and Anthony Love to the Emerald City, they had a lot of questions about the long, dark winters, the so-called Seattle freeze, and one more that they tackle head-on in their YouTube series.
Welcome to Traveling While Black in Seattle.
We kind of started the show because we knew back in Missouri there were certain places we just did not want to visit and we would be kind of nervous to visit just because of who we are. So I couldn't find those places in Seattle. I didn't know where they were no matter how much I Googled.
The couple hits the road on weekends, playing tourists. They visit national parks, fairs, farms, and towns, grading every experience on a 5-point scale.
It's based on the drive, the level of fun we had, and of course, most importantly, how comfortable we felt as being Black people visiting for the very first time.
The original target audience may have been other Black visitors, but now that there's a nationwide conversation on race taking place, all kinds of people are watching and learning.
We knew this was needed. We knew we kind of had to talk about these things.
We were way out in the sticks, so that already could have a brother a bit on guard.
Before
the recent events happen, we would get questions like, why does it have to be traveling while black in Seattle? And I think that was because not a lot of folks were aware of what it's like to be an African-American person walking into places. There is a certain like anxiety or level of concern that you naturally have.
So far, no place they visited has scored below 4 out of 5 on the comfort meter.
Where we've gone so far has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Loves are falling in love with their new hometown.
When we come back here, it actually feels like we're coming back home, and that's an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
Anthony and Marley are always looking for new places to visit. You can check them out on YouTube.
The baker making Seattle's skyline delicious right after this. Portions of Evening are sponsored by Browne Family Vineyards.
Hey everyone, Angela here. Seattle's iconic Pike Place Market has been spreading holiday cheer for 113 years. The market's local vendors and stores make it so easy to shop for everyone on your Christmas list. They also make parking a breeze. Pike Place Market has its own garage along Western Avenue. It's only $10 a day if you get there before 9:30 a.m. And don't forget to visit all the shops along Western Avenue, like Cobb's Popcorn. It's so awesome. They have more than 100 rotating flavors using as many ingredients from the market as possible. The batches are small and made fresh daily.
Welcome back to the show from Browne Family Vineyards' new tasting room in Tacoma. They also have one of these in Seattle. And you know, the Seattle skyline is recognized around the world thanks in part to the Space Needle. But now, thanks to a talented and creative baker, that skyline is also delicious. Here's Kim.
This view's inspired art of all sorts, but a Seattle skyline pie, it may be a first.
I sketch out what I want to put onto a pie, and in that case I actually went to Cary Park and kind of sat there for an hour just soaking in the views.
The result was a next-level bake, one of many gorgeous creations from Natalie Popcave, who left a career in science to become a pastry chef.
It's a pretty technical process, and having that background in science kind of feeds that.
Example, her triaxial weave lattice, inspired by a quilting tutorial. Natalie sells made-to-order desserts through her small business, Bee and the Baker. Natalie spends 10 to 12 hours a day innovating in the kitchen. The Skyline Pie launched a series of Seattle landmarks. The view of Mount Rainier on a clear day.
This is a Pike Place pie that I made with ingredients primarily from the market. So there's Indie chocolate and Chugar cherries in there.
And there are more to come. A sweet homage to the city she calls home, and the start of what could be a big career in pastry.
It was like kind of always within me, but I wasn't doing anything like this.
Thank you, Kim. If you would like to get one of Natalie's made-to-order desserts or just check out her Instagram account, we have both of them linked on our website at king5evening.com.
Portions of Evening sponsored by Pike Place Market. Portions of Evening sponsored by Swedish.
Hey, it's Angela. One of our favorite events of the year is happening this weekend, but we need your help to pull it off. 2020 marks the 20th year of King 5's Home Team Harvest, the largest annual food drive in the state. Well, with the pandemic, the need is greater than ever, so our goal is to raise 20 million meals. It's a lot, but I know we can do it with you and our partners like Swedish who support initiatives like Home Team Harvest. They understand that having access to healthy food directly impacts the health of those in our community. You can help us reach our goal by going to king5.com/hometeamharvest to donate.
So far, you've helped us raise 11 million meals. Let's keep this going this week and help others in need. Well, this pandemic has forced us to cancel a lot of events this year, but we're very happy to say one major Northwest celebration is still going to happen. The Space Needle will usher in 2021 with a dazzling and innovative new show we will be airing right here on King 5 and streamed around the world. It's all part of T-Mobile New Year's at the Needle, and I know what you're thinking. 2021 can't happen soon enough. This year's celebration will feature striking digital effects engineered to bring viewers bigger thrills than ever before and you can see it all safely from the comfort of your home. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. A big thank you to Browne Family Vineyards for having us in their new tasting room here in Tacoma. The other night, Cooper, my son, and I visited Fantasy Lights in Spanaway. It's very impressive. Here's a little of what Cooper shot. Have a great evening and cheers.